Okay, what we're going to start today is a series of recordings where we're going to construct this bottle right here. And I hope you guys have some fun with it. We're going to be doing a number of different things. We're going to be playing with the fillet tool, the face tool, the replace face tool. We're going to do a cross-section analysis. We're going to use some mirrors, and we're going to do threads, all sorts of different things with this. So I hope you guys have a little bit of fun with this. And eventually we'll get into even doing a derived part. So let's go ahead and get this started. And what I've already done is I've already started a 2D sketch, or rather I've started a part, and I'm going to do an XY work plane here. Come out a couple of snaps here. Grab my rectangle tool, and I'm going to start at absolute 0, which is what I usually like to do. And on my keypad, I'm going to hit Enter 2 and do Tab key and do 3 and hit Enter. And I'm going to go ahead and finish that sketch. Go to F6. Now remember, F5 will take you back to the last zoom where you were, with the last view, but F6 takes you home. I'm going to go ahead and use my E key for extrude. I'm going to go ahead and extrude this at 1/2 inch. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the fillet tool. Now we're going to go into the face tool first. Let's do this draft. I'm going to show you how to do a draft. And what we're going to do is select this. We're going to select our second edge here, and we're going to reverse the direction of the pull. And so you can see that there's a slight difference there on what's going to happen. And I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And let's look at the top view right there, and you can see how that top view just shows you how this edge is slightly at an angle. Okay, and that's at a -2 degree angle. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to flip this around, because what I want to do is play around a little bit with the fillet tool. Okay, so we're going to do that here, and I'm just going to get this into this area right here. I'm going to set that current view, set current view as home and fit to view. Okay, so that now becomes my new home view for now. All right, and what I'm going to do is come over here and get the fillet tool, and we're going to use this full round fillet. So what I'm going to do is take and select that face, and this face, and this face. Okay, and what that does, it does a full round fillet. So I'm going to click on OK there, and you can see that it does this nice round tool here. Well, there's more to a fillet than what we just saw here. Right now, the fillet's on an 1/8 of an inch radius, and what we can do is we can select these 3 edges. Okay. Now, we're not done yet, so don't click on OK. We're going to go ahead and select variable, and we're going to select this top edge. This is kind of neat. Okay, and as we come along here, you can see that it picks up. You can see the yellow, 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 and then there's a green dot. So right there at that green dot, we want to go ahead and click on OK, and we're going to take now this third radius here, and we're going to make it 1/4 of an inch. And watch what happens. So that changes that right there. Now we're going to try to do one more thing here. So don't press OK. All right, we're going to try and do one more thing. We're going to try and do a setback here. And in the setback, what we're going to do is we're going to select that corner, okay, and in this corner here, and in the dialog box, I'm going to see if we can't do this. Okay, now we're going to do something a little bit weird, so make sure you don't hit OK yet. And this is going to take a little bit, and it's a little bit weird. I just don't think it's very intuitive, but it's kind of a neat thing. So what we're going to do is go to setbacks, and what we're going to do is smooth this out a little bit here. So we're going to select this corner here. And then I know this sounds weird, but this is a setbacks now. So we're going to, and this is really odd. I'm going to delete this off. I'm going to put 0.375. And it's so odd because you have to type in one number at a time. So I'm going to, again, delete this out and go 0.3. And again, the cursor disappears. 7. I'm going to put it back in. 5. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. And 0.3, 7, 5. All right. Now, once I do that, I'm going to come over here to click to add, and you can see how this has smoothed all that out even a little bit nicer, right? I'm going to come over here to the other corner, and I'm going to go ahead and select this corner right here, actually. Maybe it's this one here. Collect. Maybe it's not. Okay, so I've selected that corner. I'm going to select this corner. Okay, so once I select that corner, okay, everything disappears, and it's really weird. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to hit back 0.3, and again, it's not letting me do that. 7, I'm going to click again. 5, do the next one. 0.3, 7, 5, 0.3, 7, and 5. And now you can see that everything's come back, but you can see how smooth that transition is now. It's made it very, very nice. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that, and you can see that it does a real nice job, and we're going to be finished with that. So that's pretty cool how that does that transition right there. All right, what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead, we're going to do put a sketch on the bottom of this, and we're going to project the geometry. Let's see if we can do offset from here. It's not going to let us offset, so I've got to project geometry. Nope, I did not want to do that. Project just this surface right here, and then we're going to go to the offset, and we're going to go ahead and click on here, and this offset tool is pretty nice to use. And what we're going to do in here is we're going to put an offset of 0.7 or 0.07. Let me check my 0.07. So we're going to come in here. Hold on just a second. Much easier if I just do it all at one time. So come in here, 0.07, and hit enter, and that gives me my offset. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish that sketch. Now we're going to go back to that. And we're still going to do some things to this yet, because what we've got to do is we're going to extrude this bottom piece out, but we want this whole piece to come out here. So I'm going to delete this off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my coincident constraint, and I'm going to say I want this and this to meet, and I want this and that to meet. Okay, so that does that. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a line from here to here, and I'm going to finish my sketch, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to extrude, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to take that back 0.04. So I'm just going to cut out 0.04 of that, and you can see it just took a little bit of that out. Okay, so that's pretty neat stuff right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and put a sketch on the top face here. And I'm just going to click on the front here. And we're going to go ahead and see if we can't offset. Nope, we still have to go project geometry. So we're going to project this geometry here. And we're going to offset, and we're going to offset this at 1/8 of an inch, which is 0.125. All right. And let's go ahead and finish that. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to extrude this. We're going to cut, and we're going to go down 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so that takes us down 1/8 of an inch. and we're going to click on OK. Okay, so now we're going to really apply the draft again here. This is kind of neat. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this angle to 30. Okay, and we're going to select this face, and we're going to select this edge. And we're going to go ahead and click on OK. And what you'll see is that it's made that edge angled outward, which is pretty neat, right? So that's a really good application on how you can get into that right there. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is that we're actually going to replace this face right up here. So we're going to use this replace face tool. But the first thing that we have to do is we have to figure out, well, how are we going to do this? So we need to put in a work plane, and we need to get this thing to work here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to expand the children and origin over here. And we're going to go over here to work plane. And in work plane, we're going to take an XZ, and we're going to pull that, and we're going to offset that 1.5 minus 1.5, 1.5 from here, 1.5, and we're going to place that right there. All right, now we're going to go into inspect, and we're going to slice this out. So we're going to use the cross-section analysis tool here. So we're going to go ahead and it's going to say what plane. We're going to use this plane, and we're going to select our plane. All right, we're going to switch this direction. We want this part to come off first, and we're going to select OK. And now we're going to lose all of that right there, but that's what we wanted to do. So we're going to go ahead, go back to our model here. We're going to go ahead and put a sketch right on that face. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and select the line tool, and we're going to make a construction line. And right about in the middle, what I'm going to do is mark this line down here, and I'm just going to place it there and escape. I'm going to dimension the tool, dimension this line, and I'm going to dimension this line to 2.5. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to project my geometry on this line right here, and I'm going to go to vertical constraint, and I'm going to take the middle of this line and the middle of this line. I'm going to put those two together, so those two are set. All right, I'm going to go back into my arch. I'm going to take off my construction line here, so I'm going to take my 3-point arc. I'm going to go to the end here and to the end here, and I'm going to go ahead and make an arc. And I'm just going to pop that in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to dimension from the bottom here. So what I'm going to do actually is dimension this arc to 4 inches. All right. Now once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and move this up a little bit here. We're going to dimension from the bottom edge here to the top of this. See if I can't get a. Okay, so what I want this to be at a certain height. So I can dimension it. What I'm going to do is use a point. I'm going to bring my point over here. I'm going to drop that in. I'm going to make that a construction point right there. Okay, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and dimension from the bottom edge here to that point. And I'm going to make that 4.5 or 0.45. Okay. All right. Now, once I've done that and I've got this piece in here, I'm just going to go ahead and finish my sketch. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and take off that visibility of the analysis. And now what I'm going to do is something that's really interesting. I'm going to go ahead and use my extrude tool. So let's go up and get extrude. And I'm going to select this. You can see that it selects this line right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over here. Right here, if I hover, that says solid model is active. Well, if I click on that, what it does is it no longer makes it solid. So surface model is active. So I'm going to do just surface model here. And I am going to select that arc. Let me cancel this for a second. Okay, so I'm going to select this line right here. And with it out being solid, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this 4 inches. So I'm going to highlight that, make that 4. And I'm going to go in both directions this time. So I'm going to go both up and back. And what you should see is you should see this, a curved work plane is essentially what it is. So if I just hover here, you can see that that is a curved work plane. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to replace the face on this. And, so we're going to take our replace face. We're going to select our face. And what's going to be our new face? Our new face is going to be this. And I'm going to click on OK. And now what you see is that this thing has bubbled up right here. So what I'm going to do is take the visibility here off on this. I'm going to take the visibility off on here as well. And if you can take a look, this is really pretty neat. You can see what that did was it actually, let's go ahead and put the cross-section analysis visibility back on. You can see what it did is it made that surface curved. So pretty neat. Another thing up here, probably guys didn't know what that was all about. And so for now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop this recording and we'll pick it up with another one.